Sorry, Andy. Am I
Sorry, I
starting
forgot to play
now?
the video before popping you
It
guys
was
off.
like, am I just going? I thought there was like
It's a
a
psych.
video.
It was a psych. It was a psych. I'm gonna cut this out.
I was like, oh, I'm totally not. Okay, go.
All right. Start over.
Hello, and welcome to the Chronic Health Collective. This isn't just a community, it is your fresh start. We've gathered the best coaches and experts to help you reclaim your energy, heal from the inside out, and live with purpose. Whether you're longing for more energy, deeper healing in your relationships, or want a life that feels more aligned and fulfilled, you're not alone anymore. So let's rise together. And I am so thrilled that I have the honor of introducing and having a conversation with the one and only Vince Abramo. Hey, Vince.
Hi, I'm Samantha. Thank you for having me.
No, thanks for being on with me. And I am so thrilled to be able to introduce you to Vince. So, all right, everyone. Drum roll, please. No. So Vince finds joy in witnessing the change of individuals and groups when they're engaged in healthy dialogue. She has a heart for small businesses and supports the missions of nonprofits to fulfill the community's needs. She has a master's degree in public administration and a bachelor's in intercommunication and public relations, with certifications in conflict resolution, nonprofit management, and volunteer management from the University of Hawaii. She's a certified coach and trainer through the John Maxwell team, brain health coaching through Amen University, neuroencoding, I got it right, certified development and leadership coach, thriving women in business, and a certified ICF ACC coach. She resides on the island of Oahu with her husband, Nick, and has 3 wonderful adult children carving their own journey. She tries one scary thing every year. Ooh, I got to try that. And she also tries one new recipe every month. Yeah, and that can be scary too. So welcome, Vince. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Every time someone reads my bio, I'm like, who's that person?
There's so much that Vince and I know each other because we're both here on Oahu, and we've both been in a networking group together. And some of the, this is not in her bio, but Vince is a surfer. And if I remember correctly, were you not in the Paralympics?
I tried out, but I blew out my ear doing scuba diving.
Oh my, but you were on your way, right? You were well on your way. Yes. Okay. Cause I remember you are, and I love that we have to show that picture. Maybe if we can get it to Andy before we fully broadcast this, of you surfing.
He has a lot of pictures of me surfing.
Okay. But it might be in our magazine. So if, right. So if you want to check it out, please actually go read our magazine and read all the articles that we have in there as well. Yes. Okay. So Vince, let's go ahead and start with, like, tell us a little bit more about your journey and how you got to all these amazing accolades that I read off in your bio. Like, what made you so interested in helping small businesses and their communication as well?
Back in 2010, I was with a nonprofit and I had over 300 volunteers under me as the volunteer director. And I thought I was doing well. Everybody really liked what I was doing, from the board members to the clients to the staff. And I did my 360 under the Center for Creative Leadership. And I found out that I was not a good communicator because my co-directors complained that I was not sharing information with them and that I was not being more integrating, right, a lot of the plans that I had. So a lot of them were lost when I just handed them over a person. So that's when I began my journey. I had a wonderful free coach for a whole year.
Wow.
She was about $10,000. American Express actually paid for it.
That's awesome.
And she helped me get my footing into, like, hey, I want to be better as a communicator. So that's when I discovered John Maxwell. At the same time, I also discovered doing my public administration. I thought that was my route. I wanted to do government or nonprofit. I mean, I still help, but that's when the eyes open. When conflict resolution, I'm like, I love this crap. Like, I love the professors.
A good communicator all the way to conflict resolution. That's one big jump, I have to say.
And amazing professors. One professor gave me his whole class curriculum. I get to teach it to this day. And he's unfortunately passed away 2 years ago, but I still keep in touch with a few of them, and they're always encouraging me. I've never had that kind of support before. And mediating from the family court to facilitating really contentious, the Department of Human Services, the family stuff that goes on. That stuff was high level stress. I'm like, I should switch over to helping people who really want to get help.
Yes, that makes such a difference, right? When you're working with people who are not in resistance to the process. Yes, I can relate.
And I met what was her name? I can't remember now. She was head of BNI. Oh my goodness. Joanne Siri.
Joanne, yeah.
I said, oh, I can help out your directors, do a conflict resolution training. And the whole thing was paid for. That also paid for my networking. So I jumped into helping out businesses and individuals. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I mean, I have to say though, many times, I don't know about the people watching, but I can totally relate to what I struggled most with becoming my main thing. Right? So for me, being a marriage coach, the thing that didn't go well in my upbringing, my parents were divorced, grandparents were divorced, and so marriage was this scary thing that I didn't want to fail at, and not that they failed before me, but just something that I knew I didn't have a lot of guidance on from past generations. And then it becoming the thing that I love doing, and that the thing that I have mastered. Not that you master your marriage, but well, I did get a master's degree in marriage and family.
You did.
But it's just so interesting how many of us, the thing that we struggle most with. I mean, I even say this about therapists. If your therapist says that they didn't get into therapy, that they didn't get into therapy because their life was a mess, they're lying.
That's right.
I think that 100% of therapists get into the field because their lives felt or were messed up.
And then you start to recognize it in people, right? You're
Yeah.
working with. You're like, oh, that was me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can like lift you up to that point where, you don't have to be in that space anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that's so, it was just a fun thing to take a look at and
Yeah.
wonder that we felt like we were struggling it, and then we hyper focused on it, and then it became our area of expertise.
I believe that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's so cool. So I would love to know, Vince, you and I have spoken before. We've, been around the block before together, but I want to know, like, what are you working on most recently? Like, what is whether that's like the most recent case study that's really interesting, or what's happening in Vince Abramo's world right now?
Okay. And I'm not allowed to say too much about what's going on.
We have inside information
inside,
here.
yeah. So
Right.
hopefully it'll be a good outcome after that mediation. But I have been like, this year has been a lot about speaking and helping people with disabilities. So I have one leg, right? Paralympics, and I went to Move United up in Utah in May and got to speak to like 50 individuals about creating a dispute resolution system in their nonprofits or their organizations.
Wow. Okay.
And I just was so enthralled about the whole thing. And they want to create like a whole program that's integrating all of these different programs around the United States, because then it becomes the funnel system for people to go to the Paralympics. So these organizations send 70 to 80% of the Paralympians to the Paralympics. And I met the blind skier. I know. I met a blind skier. She's like slalom, and her husband is on the Bluetooth, and he's talking to her. Like, talk about a marriage, right? Like, I don't know how he knows when she's like making a turn.
What?
But they're like going like 50, 70 miles an hour down the
mountain. And they're like in sync with one.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And she's a bronze medalist. So amazing woman. And then like I met a para fencer. He lost his right leg. And then I got to do like para fencing, curling, all of those different things. Like, and then I'm like, okay, maybe this is my calling, God. Maybe this is what I'm meant to do, is help people. And funny enough, when I got back, I got asked by Lanakila Pacific. So that's a program that helps people with intellectual and cognitive disabilities to find work, right? To work in the regular working world, right? Yeah. So, and I'm going to be speaking to them about communication and connection, because again, people are put into different silos and they kind of don't interact with one another. And this is where tension happens, right? There's different departments like don't know what the other department is doing.
Right.
So this is exciting. So maybe this is my next phase of helping people that have visible and invisible disabilities. And I like to call them abilities because, there's different levels. There's a different spectrum of abilities.
Yes, of course. So you're, well, first of all, what an awesome experience. And then second of all, like, I love that. What I love about you, Vince, is that you just organically follow the breadcrumbs. Like, whatever calls to you, you're like, oh, that sounds interesting and great. Like, let's go do that. And then you do it. And then out comes an opportunity for you to help more people. Like, it's just so cool.
I'm like, no strategy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure you have strategy.
It's a little bit, yeah.
Your story, and when we follow what you do, all I see is like you following your passions and that opening up doors for you and opportunities for you. And I'm highlighting this because I think this is unwritten kind of tool tip, a secret that people feel like they don't know how to be in such flow and how to be in such abundance, but Vince, you're just like a walking abundant person.
And hopefully you can't hear the landscapers. Can you hear the landscapers, Samantha? Okay. And this is where I am like at a dilemma right now. I'm like, I was in a contract that paid for my health insurance, had a 401k. I was like, this is a great contract. And all of a sudden it's gone. And then I'm like, oh, what do I do now? And I'm like, okay. And I've worked with another coach and she said, okay, what stops you from doing both? You can still pursue something that maybe that gives you health insurance, but you can also grow your business and help others. Yeah. But it's so funny how it's like all of your questions have been questions like since the past month.
Really?
So good, Samantha.
Guys, we didn't plan this. This was not pre-planned. Vince and I do not have a script for what we're talking about today. You are getting the raw, real Vince and Sam show.
That's a good title for a show.
And okay, and then let me just like finish this loop. So now you have this opportunity. You said Lani Kila, the organization to help people with abilities find jobs in the workforce, right? So what are some of the things that you see that's most common? I know we're about to wrap up into a commercial in a couple minutes, but I would love to put this into context for our viewers. So what are some of the things that you see people struggle with the most, and then how do you help them, and what are their resources? Because maybe they don't live in Hawaii. What can they do to get services as well?
And I think this might be our time, right? So I can do the next time.
That was our 2 minute. That was our 2 minute
okay.
banner.
Okay. So for that, I have seen a lot of people looking for workers, right? A lot of businesses and organizations, they can't fill their quote all the positions. So they're looking into finding people that have these abilities. So how do you work with these people, right? How do you work, and then not those people, but how do you make sure that you're being more inclusive and understanding that it's different types of work and different types of levels for them that they need to meet. Hey, sometimes you're working with somebody with ADD or ADHD and they're late all the time. So make their schedule a little bit later, right? Or the opposite is tell them a time, right? And it's not the real time. Tell them to come in at 10, but actually their shift starts at 10:30.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I love that.
creative like that. I know people have like these expectations of people.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not like it's never going to meet because you're trying to fill that hole, that box that you've been trying to fill this whole time. Yeah. And unfortunately, that box has been gone. Yeah. And now it's like, okay, now how do I change myself to work with them?
Okay. And then what about from like the employee's standpoint? Like, how do you find someone to advocate for you, or how do you find a way to advocate for yourself in an organization that is looking for boxes to fill?
Yeah. So working with your government, and the government always, like each state, each county has a program or department that will help you with your career, finding out what you need. And they have so much resources. Like it's so rich with resources. They can help you with like interviews, resumes, whatever it is, and you'll fit the box. But then the other side, there's also different organizations that will say, hey, we will work with your business or organization if you come into training and learn about how to work with people with cognitive or learning disabilities, so that you know that it will be better for your company and that person will keep showing up.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay. We will be cutting to a commercial break right now, but we will be back in a few minutes. And I'm so excited to continue this conversation with you, Vince.
Same here, Sam.
Have you ever felt stuck in your marriage, wondering if things will ever get better? Meet Samantha Kaaua, the marriage coach who's helping people transform their relationships in ways they never thought possible. Having saved her own marriage twice, Samantha knows the way forward. If you're ready to rebuild trust, reconnect, and create the love you deserve, visit www.thegems.com today, because the first step to transforming your marriage starts with you.
A life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully. A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. With the energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look at the speed of science, at longevity, at exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take control of your well-being from the inside out and outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
I muted. That's what happened. We went to commercial and I got muted. We are back, and I am in this segment. I would love to get into the nitty-gritty of communication with you, Vince. That's really where our paths crossed, right? So I work with marriages, and you work with small businesses and organizations to help with their communication within their organizations. And I feel like we somewhat do the same thing because we are working with systems, right? A family or a marriage is a system, and an organization is also a system. And the way that we communicate with one another is really important to be on the same page, to allow us to move forward together so that there's less resistance and conflict and all the yuckiness that can come from a lack of communication. So let's get into a conversation around communication. So Vince, tell us, like, what are some of the, I'm going to change it up because most people will probably ask you, like, what are your top 3 tips for communication? Well, I want to know what are, like, the things that people don't really get about communication. What are things that either they have false assumptions, these are like beliefs that are, false beliefs about communication. What are some of the things that you like to debunk around?
That's really good, Sam. The first one is when people say something, they think the other person understands it.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
And
so they make this assumption that what they're saying makes sense.
Yes. And that person completely understands and then is going to do whatever you want them to do. Almost like, right, like a marriage in the workplace. Like, well, I'm giving you a paycheck. So when I give you something to do, a task, then you should do it.
Yeah. Or even just assuming that they know how to execute the task with the instructions given. Sometimes it's not enough information, right?
Right. Or maybe they didn't think that the task was necessary to do because they figured out something else. Right. So instead of like telling people what to do, right, let's work on seeing how we can collaborate with one another. Maybe there's a better way and opening up that conversation. Ooh, another myth. Ooh, I love this one. Okay. If they're quiet, they're good.
Silence is what is the word? Complacent? No, is not not even consent. It's like their silence means that they're okay. Like you said, they're good.
Right.
Okay. That's a good
And-
one, because that's not true.
And then I know like 2 years back, they called it quiet quitting, right? When people would just leave the company and not say anything,
Yeah.
right? And they didn't share whatever issues or problems that they had. Maybe they didn't feel safe to share it. And so a lot of these companies have exit interviews, but
Right.
working with like a high level software engineer, she said, only 10% of people actually fill out those exit interviews.
I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they don't want, because what they say and the feedback they give, they don't want it to be used against them or
Exactly.
to blacklist them on their next job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So all quiet people are not good.
Well, let's pull this apart a little bit, because there's like quiet, like I'm relating marriage stuff right here because I think it's relevant. There's like the silent treatment, which is not the same as quiet, because I feel like when I work with couples, there's always a quieter partner than the other one. And we're not talking silent treatment. We're talking about the one that's a little bit more passive, the one that's a little bit compliant and people pleasing and wanting the other partner to be happy. And that's how I relate to what you're saying about quiet. They may not complain as much, they may not argue as much, but they're suffering in silence almost because they're not speaking up and advocating for themselves in their whether it's their marriage or in their workplace.
And they could be the best worker and they're miserable, right? And introverts, everyone thinks of introverts, extroverts, but these people, the introverts, the quiet people, they see everything, they know everything, and they know what's going on. And they're not the gossipers, they're not the complainers. Like you said, they're not gonna make waves. So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So for the people, okay, so let's look at both sides of this. If they're the quiet one, and I know you work with more of like the employer to help bring out that, but if say the people listening, they can identify more with being the quiet one and they've left jobs quietly and quit quietly, and maybe they're a little bit more quiet in their marriage or their relationship, like what is a tip that you would give them to help evoke more of their communication skills in whether that's in the workplace or at home?
And then that's empowerment, like right to know their self-confidence. But when I work with an employer that say, hey, this is a good worker, I don't want to lose her, but she doesn't say anything in meetings.
Yeah.
Find out other ways of her to communicate with you, whether it's a survey or is it a one-to-one, or they don't feel safe when they're in a meeting, they don't want to be judged. What is it? Do they need like a coworker to advocate for them? What is it for them that can work, right? So you want to have different ways of opportunities to give them of communicating. Email, like I have one employer that does Discord with their employees. And I'm like, okay, they feel safe when they're gaming. They like text the boss on Discord. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever works for you. So I'm like, and he goes, I have more healthy conversations with these people on Discord than I have in front of them. I'm like, yeah, they don't feel like
for those who don't know what Discord is, what's Discord?
Discord is the when it was born out of gaming systems, right? That it was like, now it's becoming this texting platform for them, right? So they can communicate with each other. And I had no idea my sons do it, but they're having communication the whole time when they're gaming.
Yeah, they do communicate a lot when they game. Yes, I agree. Okay. So I'm hearing, so for the side that is a little bit more quiet and they kind of sit in silence and they, yeah, the quiet quitters, and not to say they're quitters, but the ones that leave quietly and don't speak up for themselves. I heard you say empowerment is the key for them, that they can work on going inward and finding their voice and finding ways to empower themselves to speak up, and different tools and techniques to advocate for themselves. It could even be through gaming, as a way that they learn to find their voice and speak up. And then for the other side, whether that's the employer or a partner who's a little bit more outspoken and communicative, they can, the way that they can kind of connect with their quieter counterpart, or right, the quieter parties in the organization, is to try different ways of communication. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Yes.
Like, and sometimes it's gaming. Is there a couple of other examples of ways that they can try to communicate with a quieter person?
Surveys, using texting, emailing, whatever works and whatever you have used. And I have to say, I've worked with an organization that had almost 20 different platforms of communication. We finally got them down to 3. I'm like, this is why you don't know what's happening, because you have like
over communicators.
Like there's 3 CRMs, there's like 5 different email accounts.
Oh my. Oh, that's
like,
a lot.
okay, we need to like hone this down to like a few, because this is where everything is getting lost now.
Yes. And that, I like that too, because it's when we try to over communicate and we overcompensate for a lack of communication, it can also get lost. It doesn't mean to talk more or have more avenues of communication. It means, yes, diversify maybe a couple or several different ways, but don't overdo it. And then it can also get lost in the shuffle that way too, right? Is what I'm hearing.
Yes. And then for those areas where you're communicating like in Discord or text, make sure to always reiterate it back into an email, right? So then you have a document of it, not just as an employer, but an employee saying, okay, this was shared during text and this is what I understand. So those are different ways and different strategies that you can use. And I want to share the final thing about
like a myth,
debunking myth. Yeah.
Yes.
So
do it. Tell us.
The squeaky wheel always gets the attention, right?
Okay.
And they don't, right? Because they're the squeaky wheel. They're always the complainers. They're always like giving their opinions and correcting things. And unfortunately, like I know a few people who either quit or they got fired because they kept complaining.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
they got negative attention.
I see.
Right? Yeah.
So like complaining or speaking up, not, I wouldn't say too much, but complaining maybe. So like the negative communication. Is that what you're talking more about that, right? Like, because it's not about like positive communication. We're talking about this constant complaining or negativity in their communication, and that actually, instead of it being seen as helpful or taking initiative, it ends up kind of biting them in the butt, and they either get fired or get kind of
frustrated and
exiled, maybe.
Yes. Oh, totally. Yes. And and I've seen them either become saboteurs, like they sabotage the whole department organization, or they start to sabotage their coworkers to be against the boss, or they start to be snipers where they start to like pinpoint areas to undermine the boss. So there's different ways that the complainer exhibits their their behavior. Yes.
So I'm curious, because I have a saying that comes actually from the book A Course in Miracles, and
Mhm.
I use it a lot. I use this quote a lot in my relationship coaching, my marriage coaching, and in my own personal life to help me.
Mhm.
And it's every act is either a call for love or an expression of love, no matter how unskilled it may seem. And
Mhm.
so I know we only have a couple more minutes, but in this couple minutes, I would love for you to share, how do you help this person who's obviously trying to ask for help or share their love for the company? How do you support that so that it doesn't lead to firing them or them getting exiled?
And working with what they, because they are experts, because that's why they complain. They know something, they
Yeah.
know information, they've been there for a while. So I would use that to have them become a mentor.
Okay.
So, and then working with them, becoming a more constructive about their feedback.
Yeah.
How do you work with that? Sometimes I have to show them ChatGPT using AI. Like, this
Okay.
is a better way to do this. Let's become neutral. Let's find out what we can do so that it hits better on that person's ear.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many things that you want to fix. Let's fix on one thing, but let's see what the long term is for you if you figured out the whole process, if
Right.
you presented that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
looking at those,
yeah,
yeah.
so what I'm hearing you say is like sometimes they are the experts, so giving them almost more responsibility in their area of
Mhm.
expertise, and giving them a little bit more, I would even say, like, creative outlet or just leeway, right, to
Right.
express themselves more, and then also some skill training, in better articulating their concerns or addressing
Yes.
that too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they didn't feel valued. And like you said
Mhm.
about love, right?
Yeah.
It's an act of them showing love. And then how do you return that? How do you reciprocate that? Complaining to
Yeah.
say, oh, okay, I hear what you're saying. Let's see what we can do to move this forward and figure out a solution together as
I
the
love
boss.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and hearing them and hearing and showing your care and compassion and concern.
Mhm.
I love that. Okay. We are on to our next commercial break, and we will be back in a few minutes, and we will be wrapping up in our last segment here with Vince. So
I
stay
can't
tuned.
wait for the fun question.
Are you struggling to communicate effectively or lead with clarity? At Bambushu Coaching, Vince, a certified peace specialist and brain health trainer, offers solutions tailored to your needs. Whether it's developing better leadership skills, improving communication, or fostering peace in stressful environments, Vince has the tools to help you thrive. Through personalized coaching and training, Vince helps you tap into your strengths, reduce stress, and communicate with confidence. The result: stronger leadership, clearer communication, and more peaceful, productive environments. Ready to lead with clarity and peace? Connect with Vince at Bambushu Coaching today.
Why do 98% of beauty enthusiasts rave about coolness? It's all in the blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. Introducing Coolness, Pearlescent Face and Eye Serum Cream. This powerhouse combines the antioxidative power of schisandra berries, the glow of pearl powder, and the hydrating wonders of dragon's blood extract. It's like a time machine for your skin, making it radiant, firm, and oh so smooth. Inspired by ancient Chinese traditions and backed by modern nutritional science, this serum cream is perfect for dry, mature, and aging skin. It's time to unlock your inner glow with Coolness. Treat your skin to the best of both worlds today.
All right, we're back. And I'm not
Yay.
muted. We're back. I'm really
I have to say, Sam, amazing active listening. So if you hear Sam doing all this active listening, I hear you saying what I'm summarizing is this is what like effective communication sounds like, everyone.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I would be sad if I didn't do that. only clinically trained too. No, but I mean, I have to say though that it really was something that I loved doing, is just listening and hearing. And fun fact, my name, Samantha, actually means listener.
I had no idea.
To be a therapist,
Oh,
marriage coach.
I got chicken skin, which
Yeah?
is goosebumps.
I know. I
By the
didn't
way.
find out until much later in life. But like, so I didn't know it growing up. I only knew it, I think, after I was already in my master's program for marriage and family therapy. And then I found out that the meaning behind Samantha is actually listener. So it's super
very
cool. Yeah. So thank you. And yes, we are modeling for you, listeners. We are modeling the like healthy communication, right? We're discussing a topic, listening to each other's perspectives, putting it in a way that I like, making sure I understand it in my own words, right? So yes, these are great modeling. You can take us as examples, maybe. So Vince, I'm on a trend of asking you questions that I was trying to search in my mind for things to discuss with you that maybe or maybe not people have asked you in the past, right? In interviews, and because you've been interviewed on so many things and so many platforms. And I was like, well, what could I ask Vince that maybe nobody has asked her? And well, we'll get to a fun question later, but in this segment, okay, so here's what came up for me while we were on our commercial break. I think oftentimes as experts, we're often asked a lot of questions, right? And we are given this opportunity to share our wisdom, share the things that we've learned. But one of the things I would like to know for you, Vince, is like, what questions would you like our audience to maybe even ask themselves? What are ways that, like, what are things that you want other people to start asking themselves? And like, what questions would you have for them to just continue to evoke more awareness and insight for themselves?
Yeah. And especially in the workplace. And I come across it all the time. And this is where I discover where I need to improve myself. Because if it keeps happening to you more than several times a day or a week, then it's something you need to work on.
Okay.
But one of the questions I would ask myself is, why is this person reacting this way right now to what I just said? Right? And why did I react that way?
Yeah.
And how can I figure out how to say this a little bit better, a little bit softer, a little bit kinder?
Yeah.
So that, because I really care for this person, because, right, we work, unfortunately, we are around people at work more than our family.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
Unfortunately, during our waking hours
in our society. But yes, it does end up happening. Correct. Even with our children, they're in school with their peers and teachers more than they are at home many times. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you're going to see that person again. And if you quietly quit or get fired, whatever it is, that's going to keep happening to you over and over again. Right? What can I do to be a better communicator? What can I do to empathize with this person right now? I'm not recognizing them.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know I'm going to reflect again and use my active
that's
listening.
Great. Yes.
I just don't know how else to communicate. So what I am hearing you say though is a good indicator for people to inquire within themselves and ask themselves these questions is if they see repetition, like repetitive results. is what
Yeah.
I'm hearing you
And
say.
the same result over and over again.
Yeah. And I'm something that I do talk about too is like, you know, your results are a perfect reflection of like the internal systems, your thoughts, your feelings, all the things inside of you, right? So it really is that reflection point of things that you can work on, right? It's not happening to you. It's happening through you and by you, right? So if the results are something you don't like and you want to change it, if you don't want to change it, by all means, keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you
bang your head up against the wall.
Yeah. Okay. And then we can ask ourselves these really reflective questions to help us choose a different reaction, response, and then create a different outcome.
Yes. Yes. And how powerful. You will feel that energy shift automatically. Right? Yeah. Like I worked with an organization and they're like, the entire board wants to quit. We don't want to work with this person anymore. Like, and then just watching one meeting, I'm like, what the heck is going on? I can't even follow. Only 2 people. There's 30 of you on this call right now, and only 2 people are talking.
Yeah, I see.
Did you need me to be the outside person to tell you? And sure enough, after they changed, they're like, oh my gosh, the board just kept coming up saying that was a great meeting. We finally, after several years of having horrible meetings, and we changed our whole outlook, ourselves, and the way that we did our processes. They're like, they found that switch.
Yeah, because they're reflecting and like actually doing their own internal assessments, right, of the result. I love that. So Vince, tell me, and I want you to tell our audience too, like who would be perfect people to work with you? Like who are the people that want to be calling you to help them in their, whether that's their small business or their organization, or right? You're right here. It says brain health trainer. So like, I want to know who should be calling you, Vince.
And everyone says everybody. It's people who are experiencing conflict and struggling, right? They're the ones that are like, okay, I need to change and I need to find the help to change.
Okay.
So how can I be a better person at work? So I'm looking for that person, or the business owner, like, hey, we're scaling, we're growing, or we're having difficulty finding people. How can we be more inclusive? How can we figure out a way to have a process or a system to be a better employer? So those are the people that I'm looking for, the ones that are willing to be reflective.
And so, yeah, but tell me, when it comes to like growing businesses, you're talking about them growing businesses. Help me differentiate or identify why they should call you, and like maybe they're considering an HR company, right? Maybe they're considering outsourcing their HR and like, oh, well, that should solve my communication issues within my company, and they should provide us what we need to help that, right? I right? No. So Vince, help us differentiate that. Like for a company who's getting ready to, or has already outsourced, or has an internal HR system, like why is it important for them to still consider what you do?
And I've had those clients that they said, oh, this HR company or our own HR can only go so much. They have training, they may have they do coaching, but then it's more of their own interest, right?
Oh.
And that's why the staff don't feel like it's an equal playing field. So when they bring me as an outside person, I
Uh-huh.
become the facilitator. I become that mediator, that person that has no ties to anyone, and that it feels like every voice is being heard.
Got it. Because the HR
Yeah.
company is more loyal to the business than it is.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, you would want an HR company that is neutral, but
Right.
whether that's a company or internally, but oftentimes they're still looking out for the business at the
Yes.
bottom line.
Hmm.
So
Bottom
you would
line.
be a neutral party, that an unbiased party
Hmm.
that come in and advocate for both sides.
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
Because, and then when that happens, it's the synergistic collaboration.
Mhm.
That's amazing. I always get like chicken skin from that when they go through that. It's like now they get to this amazing level,
Yeah.
and they're just in flow after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. So yes, so if you work in an organization, you own a company, a growing business, or even if you're somebody who wants to improve your own communication skills within the workplace, it sounds like Vince is your girl. She is the one you want to call. Did I get that right? Is that
Yeah.
accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted
Yeah.
to make
And
sure.
then so many people come to me during that, like whether it's mediation or facilitation or training. They're like, "Oh, can you work on my husband?" I'm like, "Oh, I have the marriage coach just for you." Because I do not deal with that. So.
I can work with the spouse or the marriage itself. There is definitely similarities, but let's just be real. There are definitely nuances that
Yes.
separate marriages from work communication.
And everyone talks about the work wife or the work husband,
Right.
You're not going to go through a divorce. You're just going to quit. You're not
Yeah.
going to.
Just get another job.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Okay, so I am tasked by Andy to ask a funky question. I am
Funky.
not the best funky question asker.
Okay.
It is clear that I don't answer them well, and I also don't think of them well because I am so not that out of the box. But from one of the questions that Andy had asked me before, I'm kind of gonna go off of his segue from a question he's asked me in the past. So if you could pick, well, I'm gonna pose it this way. Like, I want to know, Vince, what is your favorite workplace sitcom television show? Because we know all the dysfunction gets displayed there. And why?
Oh, of course, I love The Office.
Okay.
And then I like Parks and Rec because that's like no matter what, when I work with people in government, I'm like, it's the same scenario every time.
What is your favorite, like, is there a scene or a conflict that came up that stands out to you in one of those shows that?
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. And the recent one was Parks. Oh wait, no, we're watching The Bear right now.
Oh, nice.
The Bear is the kitchen, back of the kitchen. So I used to work for my sister's restaurant. But my favorite conflict was dealing with the people outside. Like it was the mob basically in Chicago, right? And they're just hanging outside of the restaurant and they're causing a scene, right? And then the cousin is getting his gun ready to scare them off, right?
Yeah.
But the sous chef, who's very young and is in charge of everybody, and she gets a lot of flack for being young, but has a degree, right? But she goes and she feeds them instead.
Okay.
She's like listening to them, and like she goes, "Here's some sandwiches. Hey, let's talk it out. Like, what's the beef with each other?" Like the person just says, "I don't like this guy," right? And there's something like really internal and deep that's going on because of the mob. But I don't like this guy. This guy like bothers me. Like, oh, okay, let's talk about this a little bit more. Here, let me feed you.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. That's such a good one. Okay, so I know I shared this in a past episode where I think Minna or Andy was interviewing me, and
mhm,
we talked about one of the communication tools I use in marriages, and it's HALT: hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And
mhm.
one of the best ways to diffuse a mob: feed them. They're obviously going to be hungry if they're trying
Yes.
to protest something, and they're lonely, meaning like they don't feel heard, right? So
Mhm.
those are you're already tackling two of the four: hungry,
Yes.
angry, lonely, tired. And so I love
Yeah,
that.
you have to satisfy their amygdala, right, of hunger, and then you got to make sure that their oxytocin, like make sure that that's flowing in their brain. This is why I love to talk about brain health. And then they're going to open up, right?
Yes.
Then they're going to start to use their prefrontal cortex. I'm like, okay, I get it. Okay, whatever happened. Okay. Then they're getting along, which is weird because they're all breaking bread together.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that. All right. It's been an amazing conversation with you, Vince. And I know we could just keep going on. So
I know,
to
same
be
here.
continued. To be continued. And for those of you watching and listening, if today's episode spoke to you, don't do this alone. Book your free consultation with one of our experts. We have amazing coaches here at chronichealthcollective.com, and receive a personalized support system and personalized coaching, all of the above. And don't forget to subscribe to our monthly magazine for expert tips from all 14 coaches to elevate your health, mindset, and relationships. Catch us live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, or watch past episodes anytime on E360 TV or youtube.com/at Chronic Health Collective. Thanks again for tuning in, and your transformation starts now. See you next week. Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
Sam.